I got a really lovely message during the week from somebody who had been watching our videos about purchasing and renovating our cottage, and through watching the videos felt empowered and inspired to go ahead and buy their own cottage. That moment when you realise the people in your phone are real and the things you do and say on YouTube have real world consequences. So in the spirit of trying to be helpful, jury's out on whether we're succeeding or not, the time had come for us to sit down and basically put our heads together and get this renovation plan for what we're calling phase 2 of our project here underway in 2024. That basically involves plumbing and getting some floors down. So it's a lot when you're trying to take on with the management and a lot of the actual labouring of the project yourself. In fact, we're planning to do most of it ourselves and to just bring in qualified labourers or qualified specialists wherever needed. We sat down a few months ago and really had to think about what it was that needed doing on the cottage, the best kind of order to do those things in, and for this part, the floors and the plumbing, what kind of materials we wanted to use. I kind of left Dave after that to work on stuff like researching the tech, the spec, the quantities, the costs, a lot of that sort of mathematical, technical stuff that I'm wasted on. I'm no good at that kind of stuff. But what I'm going to do now is to look at the rough steps that Dave has researched and laid out and to put together like a coordinated plan for how we're going to get from A to B. So we thought we'd invite you in whilst we're literally doing this so that any of you who are going through a similar kind of a journey or thinking about embarking on a similar journey might feel inspired, might learn something that's helpful for your situation, or might just be able to learn from our mistakes.
I might catch something we miss.
I love it when people do that, okay? People who know more than we do, tell us in the comments what we're doing or planning wrong, and we're here for that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so Dave, what is the very first thing that we're doing?
The very first thing that we're going to do is groundworks.
Okay, so what does that actually specifically involve?
What that involves is we need to identify where stuff like the kitchen sink and the toilet and the shower are all going to be. And then off at the back of that, we need to decide where the wastewater's going.
Yes, so what I'm getting from this is that basically you need probably me to go around and have a real think about the space, where everything is best positioned, so that we can coordinate where wastewater is going to go out, water is going to come in.
Yeah.
We need to dig the trenches where the pipes are going to go, and whilst we have a digger on site, that's probably also when we'll do our levelling.
Yeah.
Because our outside ground level is still a little bit higher than our inside ground level in certain parts, and that is still contributing towards a damp issue inside the house. So it's sort of top of our list of things to do as soon as we get a digger on site, is to get that sorted out, get the outside levels scraped back. We've got some concrete footpaths out there that can easily be removed once we've got the right HGV. So dig trenches, level ground. Okay, and have we got timing? Like, are we talking, 2 days with the digger?
I've allocated for 2 days with the digger.
We haven't booked anybody to do that yet. No. We just wanted to get our schedule down so that we can give people specific dates and just try and get them boxed off.
After the groundworks, the next job then is on to demolition phase. 1 second here now. Internal render removal and the subfloor are both happening at the same time, right? So we're going to go room by room to maximise the amount of time that the bedroom can be lived in before we move into the mobile.
Oh, so removing the rubble, like how many weeks have you put down for that? I suppose it does depend on whether or not we are lucky enough to have helpers.
Yeah, I've budgeted 10 weeks for the subfloor, so that's removal to screeding, so it is.
Okay, so that really is by far the longest, probably nearly hardest part of this entire operation.
Yes, and there's no way of judging of how quickly we're going to get that done.
Yeah.
Because like we saw from doing the French drains, it was very difficult to get the shovel in to lift the stone. Hopefully this kind of stone is easier.
Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah,
you're
I know.
Ridiculously optimistic.
Like I've been Googling shovel specs to see if there's like, will a different shovel make any difference?
6 hours later.
So we'll be able to judge from how long it takes the first room.
Yeah.
Is how the rest of it will go.
Okay.
So then, when we've taken up the subfloor in each of the rooms, I'm gonna pass over to you then, right? Because it is repoint o'clock on the level of the floor between the like dirt ground and the top of the wall.
Repointing with lime, I presume.
Yeah.
So we were planning to get Theo in last year to teach us how to do that.
Yeah. I was planning on getting him down for a day.
Okay.
To show us.
Okay.
And we already have one offer of help when we're doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I should scoot around that. I'm pretty nifty with jobs like that.
Yeah. We're going room by room in this. So while I start working on the bathroom,
yes.
After that's cleared,
yes.
You're line pointing the subfloor.
Oh, I see. So I'm coming right behind you.
You're coming right behind me.
Oh, that's very efficient. Very good.
That's what I'm thinking.
Once I've got this all written down and I understand it from start to finish, and we get our tradesmen booked and things like that, I'm going to draw up a big chart somewhere on site that we can easily see and figure out what it is that we're doing that week and what's coming up the following week, and are we still on schedule with everything.
Yeah.
I'll be cracking the whip, won't I, Dave?
You will indeed, aye.
I'm very good at that.
God bless you. The next job is the subfloor.
It really helps to have diagrams of the more complicated parts of your project. So since the floor is by far the biggest part of ours, I figured that was probably a good place to start. So, after we've dug out and removed our pre-existing concrete floors, we'll be left with this layer of subsoil and the cavity above it. So let's say these are the walls going up either side of the room. So the first thing we are going to put into this cavity is a layer of geotextile breathable membrane, and this is basically going to allow any air and moisture that's coming up from the subsoil to actually just travel up and out, which is where we want it to go. So this membrane, we put it into the bottom, but we leave the edges really long, and we're going to leave them longer than that. So try and imagine there's an extra bit up here, okay? You'll need to remember that for later on. The next thing we're going to put in after this is a layer of recycled glass gravel. At that point, my mic battery died, so apologies for the slight shift in audio quality here. So once we've got our layer of glass gravel all filled in, we're then going to take, do you remember those imaginary sides of our breathable membrane? We're going to take those flaps and fold them down over the top of the layer of glass gravel, like a burrito, actually. And then we take another layer of the breathable membrane and we sit it down on top over that to fully encase the glass gravel. At this point, if you're thinking about using a radon barrier, this is where it would also go in on top of that. It's quite a common problem that doesn't actually get spoken much about in Ireland. If you're living in an area with limestone deposits, it's definitely something you might want to look into, and we will be putting in a radon barrier. The next thing that we add are these corkboard planks, and they insert down the sides of the walls and rest on top of that solid bed of glass gravel, and they form sort of a mould for the limecrete screed, which then gets poured in at this point. So once we've got our lovely lime screed in, then it's going to look quite similar to how our concrete floors currently look, but obviously much more suitable to our house. The next thing we do then is we add the timber framework, which will actually hold up our floor, whatever we decide that's going to look like. So we put some lengths of timber this way. Those are the ends of the planks, if you can try and imagine that. And then we put some other ones sitting on top of that at 90 degrees to create a sort of a framework. And it's in between this timber work grid that you're creating that the plumbing goes, and then the insulation goes down on top of that. And then we sit our floor. As I say, it could be OCB boards, but we'll not worry too much about that. We'll still have taken a massive step forward if we manage to accomplish everything we've got in this diagram this year. We just want to get to the point where we've got our stove set up in the main room, where we've got like floor levels roughly finalized, so that we can actually utilize and envision the entire space going forward. So I think that's really it for today, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, just about that.
I think we've covered a lot of ground there, and I really hope that some of that has been really useful to some of you watching. And before we go, I just want to say a massive thank you to my newest channel members, and they are Moonchild, who joined at Baltina level, Stephen Rogers, who joined at Baltina level, Kay Giddens, who joined at Baltina level, and you know what, because I haven't given him a shout out in a while, I want to say a big hello and thank you as well to Derek Healy, my 7 level member. Hi Derek, and thank you so much to all my new members. Thank you so much for believing in us and supporting us. And for anybody who's interested in doing that, I thought I'd let you know that at the minute, my goal with the channel memberships is to be able to make €65 a month, bare minimum, so that we can avail of Starlink. Dave spotted the lights going over the house the other night, and he was full sure it was aliens. He's like, Tara, Tara! By the time he reached me, he was like trying to play it cool because he realized what it was. We're on the way to Starlink money. We're just not quite there yet. The other thing is, if you don't want to make a monthly commitment, I do have a buy me a coffee as well, and that at the minute is going towards buying us a second camera, a GoPro camera. There's plenty of them secondhand on the Facebook marketplace, God bless it. So I'd really like to get one of those so that we can get our renovation footage from 2 camera angles, just to keep it interesting, and so that we can show you up close as well. I think the GoPros are really designed to have like building rubble and clouds of dust coming at them and stuff. Yeah, I mean, even if you just want to throw a couple of quid in the buy me a coffee, that is also massively appreciated. And you know what, if you've made it this far, please do not feel pressured to give any money to me at all. Even just watching this far, hitting the like button really helps, and it gets the video out to other people, and I really appreciate you too, so much so that we have a little surprise for the people who watch to the end coming after this. So don't forget to hit the you say it, Dave, you say it.
Don't forget to hit the don't forget to hit the
sacked. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more fun and witty adventures. I upload some Thursdays and you're not going to want to miss it. Slán agus Bannacht, goodbye and good luck to you. Oh, when you're all set up and flipping ready to shoot and you hear a tiny meow in the attic. Like, we thought we solved this problem when Dave, like, went to the effort of making the heavy chipboard flap, like, here, Max!
Max!
Num-nums!
Come here.
Oh.
How do you do it?
Like, how is he getting up there? We have absolutely no idea. Look at that. Daddy rescue.
Did you come up with Daddy, huh?
Mommy film. I had to do this yesterday. Look at that. How are you getting up there?
How are you getting up there? Like, we might have to put a GoPro on him.
I hope you're at least earning your keep when you're up there, are you? I don't know. But you're after leaving the trapdoor open, Daddy.
I want to go back first.
So he'll be back up in about 30 seconds flat once you fed him, obviously.
Yes.
That's his only issue with being locked in the attic. His meals are occasionally late. While it takes Mommy and Daddy a little while to figure out where he is.
It's just so comfortable up there since we insulated it.
Stay to this. And then he's full of kisses every meal time. He has no loyalty at all.
No. We don't care though. Come on. No numbs.
And yes, my Christmas tree is still up.
Hey! High five!
We couldn't even manage that.
No, we couldn't. I hope the renovations go better than that high
Oh,
five.
I need a cup of tea after that.